One component of the Comango coalition is Sisters in Islam, a Muslim NGO that fights for the rights of Muslim women. It is the only Muslim NGO to participate in Comango.
When they talk about Comango wanting to make halal the sexual relationship, same-sex relationship, yeah, is that true? If you look at the report, it says to stop vilification, to stop violence, to stop hate action or hate speech against the sexual minorities, yeah, which is called as LGBTIQ. What Comango report talks about is that sexual minorities have the right as any other citizens of Malaysia. Right to education, right to live, right to seek employment, right to be treated as any other citizen in Malaysia. Is that wrong? For example, Al-Alusi in Ruh al-Ma'ani fi Tafsir al-Quran Azim, when he make tafsir or translation of the Quran, tafsir explanation, he said that everyone and all members of the human race, including the pious and the sinners, are endowed with dignity, nobility and honor, which cannot be exclusively expounded and identified. That means you cannot pick and choose who can be dignified, who can get Allah's karamah, and who cannot get.
The concept of the Islamic human rights is a question of the rights which Allah has given to men, yeah, not something which is free from God's sovereignty, right? So, in terms of the LGBT, it's a way of life which is not acceptable and will not be condoned under the Islamic way of life, but it's not necessarily has to be handled in a how do you say, a manner which is void of wisdom, yeah, in the sense that when you're faced with this kind of challenge, we have to obviously engage with society and try to dispense with the kind of logic and the kind of reasoning which gives LGBT somewhat glamorous kind of appearance. Yeah? So this is something, a question of da'wah and how you handle a trend which is happening within society, within the young. Obviously for the Muslims, we can get them to refer back to the Quran and the traditions of the Prophet Sallam, but for the society as a whole, how we handle it and how we how do you say prove that it is something which is not natural and it is something which is destructive to human civilization has to be argued out, yeah, and not necessarily handled in a with an iron fist.
ISMA's president, Abdullah Zaid Abdul Rahman, believes that Malaysians reject outside morality to enter the country.
Ada ke orang di Malaysia ni daripada budaya pemikiran orang Malaysia nak LGBT? Kan? Ada ke orang Malaysia nak kesamarataan mutlak antara lelaki dengan perempuan? Adakah orang Malaysia ni nak kahwin lelaki sama lelaki, perempuan sama perempuan? Itu daripada orang Malaysia ke? Tak ada langsung, kan? Tapi jadi kalau dia tu berfikir secara orang Malaysia, berfikir secara orang Islam, apa yang baik daripada Barat? Katakan tadi saya sebutkan hak rakyat untuk menyumbang dalam pentadbiran pembuat dasar negara, ada parlimen, kita setuju. Tetapi Islam pun setuju. Maksudnya kita boleh adapt dalam kita punya culture dan kita punya pemikiran. Jadi itu masalahnya sekarang ni, yang Comango apa semua ni memperjuangkan nak datang yang daripada luar tu nak masuk dalam negara kita begitu sahaja tanpa melihat adakah itu sesuai dengan negara kita ataupun tidak.
I suspect there are more political reasons. Obviously, they're not reading our report correctly because they keep talking about same-sex marriage. It doesn't appear in our report at all. And the issue of sovereignty, I mean, okay, if you look at the way that they discuss our report, as if we don't talk about anything else except things which are against Islam, which is not true, and also that we attack the sovereignty of Malaysia, which is also not true. Then they say that because we are asking Malaysia to ratify and basically to accede to more international treaties, that we are trying to challenge Malaysia's sovereignty, which is not true, because if you look at how Malaysia interacts in the international arena, I can't even count the number of treaties that Malaysia has signed for economic reasons. So if you want to argue, if you sign an international treaty, you cede your sovereignty. So in that case, habislah. Malaysia has signed so many international treaties and are continuing to negotiate to sign more. So what does that say about the issue of sovereignty?
Recently, Comango invited its detractors for a dialogue but was turned down, and ISMA is continuing to take a warlike stance against the coalition with a veiled warning.
Kalau dia nak main court dan itu hak dia. Tapi kita pun banyak cara. Kita boleh berdepan dengan dia dengan banyak cara, dan kita tengok siapa menang dalam court ke, menang di luar court ataupun di mana-mana, kita boleh lihat.
Abdul Rahman refused to elaborate when pressed on what he means by "we'll see who will win in court or outside or anywhere else."
Di luar court tu macam mana Ustaz?
Tak adalah.